Hi friends, Coach Jonathan with Steadfast Barbell. We're back to dive deeper into odd object training. And this episode is all about large, heavy, cumbersome, extremely odd objects. Looking forward to diving into this one. We're going to be looking at some clean variations using sandbags, go rucksack, as well as simple holds and carries, all aimed at making you more awesome. All right, if you remember last episode, we focused on using odd objects to improve overhead position, strength, and stability. We primarily looked at holds and carries, overhead, using kettlebells, dumbbells, even a yoke. So diving initially into this episode, I'm going to stick to the hold or carry theme, really simple, but now we're targeting primarily the midline here, midline or core, or trunk strength and stability, and also hip strength and stability while performing bear hug holds. And I'm going to start by using the heavy rogue sandbag. So let's talk about getting into position. First of all, I'm going to get that sandbag situated underneath my hips, and I'm going to approach that purposefully in a proper deadlift setup, right? Because that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm deadlifting this sandbag. I'm going to get both hands underneath. I'm then going to bring it to my chest, bear hug it, and stand it up. From here, I'm bearing down, tightening my tummy, squeezing my glutes. I'm going to hold this for X amount of minutes. Again, in that position, right, I can just carry that thing, really focusing on the tight midline and hip strength and stability, okay? A simple hold, simple carry is a great way to increase demand and strengthen the midline. All right, now shifting our focus to a different object, a go rucksack. Again, it's full or filled with sand. We can do some different variations with this, different holds, different carries on different areas of my body. I like this because it's versatile. I can go from a front rack hold to a back rack carry, or I can even go unilaterally over one shoulder or the other. From there, I can perform holds. It's not that heavy, so that wouldn't be very effective. I could perform carries. Again, not that heavy, so not that effective. But lunges with this thing, there you go, now we're talking. So let's take a look at that. With this go rucksack, and I'll get into this in a little bit more detailed, but I'm going to have to clean this into position, right? Using these handles, I'm going to set up like I typically would in a clean. I'm going to clean this to the front rack position. Now from here, I can perform walking lunges or in-place lunges. Again, let's increase demand, put it onto one shoulder, and perform the same thing. Just a different variation, increasing demand on the lifter. Here the focus is hip, leg strength and development, and I would do this at the end of your lifting session or WOD. All right, diving deeper into this odd object training segment now, we're going to look at using the same pieces of equipment, rucksack, sandbag, and D-ball to perform different variations of the clean, even the jerk, okay? This is great to mix up the stimulus. You know, we're typically moving a barbell, which is very balanced, and we get into this routine, right? And the body adapts. And I love implementing odd objects like this, performing some of the classic lifts, even snatches. We'll get into that next week. But in an effort to increase demand on the lifter, keep the body guessing, and this is a great way to train complete hip and leg extension, powerful hip drive, etc. So let's look at 3 clean variations, 1 jerk variation, using these odd objects, these sandbags, okay? Starting with the go rucksack, and we kind of touched on this briefly, but the clean, right? Nothing changes. This is still a clean. The same basic principles, mechanics, progressions apply. It's just a different odd object. So first, to get set up, I'm going to get my feet underneath that bag, bringing that bag as close to my legs as possible. From here, purposefully, I'm going to get set up just as if I was cleaning. I'm going to grab these handles, get into a nice setup position. From here, I'm going to push the floor away, driving my knees back, and then accelerating up through the middle, receiving it in the front rack. Good. One power clean from the floor. I can even perform a full squat clean with this position, receiving it in the squat. And down. Lastly, we can perform hang cleans. A bit more awkward, a bit more challenging. I'm going to deadlift this up, go to the hang, and clean. From here, perform some jerks. Again, this is something that is meant to be an accessory, something to add at the end, not to replace your typical lifts and your typical training. Just something to change it up, increase demand, and further strengthen and develop. Now moving on to a different object, a D-ball. This is 80 pounds. We're going to stick with the clean. And we're going to do ground to shoulder. And I'm not going to throw it over my shoulder, but I want to control it at the top, and drop it. Again, the focus is on powerful hip and leg extension. And yet, just another way to change it up and increase demand. To start, again, I'm going to get this underneath my hips, right? Keep it close to the body. I'm going to straddle it this time, a little wider stance to accommodate that ball. From here, I'm going to get set up very similarly with my hands up under the ball, good setup position. From here, I'm going to stand. I'm going to use my legs, driving it up, receiving it on the shoulder, and then back down. Very simple, but very importantly, remember to use our legs, our hips, to create that upward momentum, lifting the ball to the shoulder. I like to control it here, stop it, and then placing it back down. Here we can do an X number of reps for time, or an AMRAP, as many reps as possible in a specific amount of time. Just another different way to mix up your training. Finally, we're really going to increase demand here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to perform a sandbag clean, similar to what I just did, but using the large, heavy, Rogue sandbag. From here, I'm not going to stop it at my shoulder. I just want to get this thing up off the ground and over my shoulder. And to do so, really have to use my legs and my hips. Powerful drive, powerful extension to get that over my shoulder. Again, setup is very similar, and I want to get my hands up under this sandbag. From here, I'm going to lift and bear hug, and then up and over my shoulder. Sandbag clean. You guys might have seen these in the regionals, CrossFit regionals this past year, 2017. Real quick sprint at the end. Just another way to change the stimulus from a typical barbell clean. And again, this isn't meant to replace your typical cleans in training, but this is an accessory, something you can do at the end to mix things up a little bit. I love changing up the stimulus. Incorporate these into your training next time. Let me know how it goes. And again, I'm Coach Jonathan. I am Steadfast Barbell. Make sure you look us up on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll catch you guys next week.